Psychotic and iconic. Psychotic and iconic.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 144 of Psychotic and Iconic. Paul's here along with my co-host Nick Theories and Philly Phil. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in to the live stream tonight. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and share it. Thank you to everybody that likes, follows, and subscribes to all of our platforms. I'm hurting today. We have to talk about it.
I need more passion in your voice. Balls.
That's 3 strikes in 2 days. How do I have passion after a heartbreaking loss?
Well, they lost by 3,
They lost.
but it was a good game.
It was a shitty ending to it, but
It was a good game overall.
it sucks. I know. I expected to have a totally different tone when I came on here because I was talking a lot of shit.
We both were.
But I was all year heavily.
I'm starting to feel like I really jinxed them.
I told you put the kiss of death on them. I knew it. Well, and then I solidified it when I drove to the city. That was the final nail in the coffin.
God. You drove all the way. But I texted you. The Eagles it was halftime. The Eagles were up 24-14.
You and Kev.
I texted Pauls. I'm like, yo, you coming to Philly? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right. I'm like, oh shit, he's really coming. So then he comes here. And all of a sudden the momentum just completely switched. And that was deflating, man. But when they came back, I thought that's when we were gonna like fight back and kind of take the game. Didn't happen that way.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's just get into it and get the pain out of the way. What do you think was the biggest reason for the loss? Because I know it's easy to point to the holding call or lack thereof, but is there a moment in the game? Because I have one specific moment where I feel like the energy shifted, the momentum shifted into the Chiefs' favor. Obviously with Jalen Hurts' fumble, and that was the moment where I was like, shit.
That was the moment right there.
Yeah, because at that point, at worst case, you go into the half 27-7, or you better yet, you go in 31-7, which I would opt to say 31 because of how we were rolling.
Yeah, but you went up by 10 points at the half. If you told me the Eagles were going to be up by 10 at the half, you wouldn't be happy with that?
No.
That's
I said
crazy.
at the time on Sunday.
That's insane.
Because you can't do that with Mahomes. He's too good.
10 points. You're up 10 points at the half. You're not down. You're up
not
10
comfortable.
Points. Yeah, but you have another second half. I understand there's a factor of him, his ability to come back. I get that. But the Eagles had a good ass team all year. So like to be up 10 points a half, I would have felt really comfortable with that. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, look, I did think they were going to win. Let me say that because otherwise I want to drive to the city.
Right.
I thought the Eagles were going to win. I was excited as hell. I got in trouble by my wife. I was ready to go though. It was worth it. And then I drove home, walked 5 blocks in the pouring rain, and
that's passion right there.
It was a sad drive home.
I like that.
But I just feel like I knew like there was just something about it because Mahomes and the offense never got going. And I'm like, okay, this is what I expected. But I never expected the Eagles, like their strongest point, which is the defensive line, just got totally negated.
Yeah, but did you see the field conditions?
Yeah, that's a whole different subject. I know
that
they played ice hockey.
I know it goes both ways. It's for the offensive line.
You go both ways?
And defensive line. But it negates our best asset on defense, which is our defensive line. They weren't able to play fast. And when you can't play fast and you can't get after the quarterback, he's going to have all day long and he's going to pick you apart. And that's exactly what he did in the second half. The Chiefs had a really good game plan coming into the half, and they executed, man. Like that's what are you gonna say about that, bro? You know what I mean? The Eagles got outcoached in the second half. Maybe that's due to the lack of, due to the lack of experience, or just due to they got comfortable. I don't know. But
I mean, it could have been comfortable. It was just, to me, it was more of a coaching mismatch. I mean, Andy Reid just put on a clinic in the second half. There was no, on both of their touchdowns
on every drive.
And Mahomes only had one incompletion, and it was a throwaway. But the 2 touchdowns that they scored to Tony and Sky Moore, they were wide open. Now they were saying I forget where it was, maybe Twitter or like ESPN or something that I was watching, and they were saying that Doug Peterson could have tipped them off that like when they run the option or the screen that they bite too much or over pursue. And then that's when Andy Reid was having the kick out guy go. I don't know. I mean, it certainly looked like that. But for like,
You're talking about when the Eagles played Jacksonville?
Yeah, like Doug Peterson apparently they were saying like could have told Andy Reid like these are things to look at with the Eagles. Because they were showing plays where Doug Peterson and them had success against the Eagles in that game when they played Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Even though the Eagles came back and won. But like when you look at it, it just sucks because the Eagles played great. Their defense didn't show up in the second half, but their offense was there the whole game.
Yep.
It really is unfortunate for Mahomes, for Hurts, because that fumble, it was a fluke. It was just a fluke. That's all it was.
But I'm not going to put it all on the fumble. I'm not going to even blame the fumble because my thing is so it was 14-14. The Eagles responded with 10 straight points right after that going into the half. So I'm not going to say that was the turning point. I think the turning point was when the Chiefs scored right down the field, at the half, and then that kind of made 24-21.
But if they did that,
the Eagles went 3 and out.
But listen, and I get that, but my point is that when it's 21, it was 14-7 and they were driving or whatever it was, that fumble made it 14-14. So if they would have scored there is what I'm saying.
Then you're looking at 21-7.
Or you're looking at 21-7, 17-7, or then if they come out in the second half and score and you're up by 21.
But who's to say that the Chiefs wouldn't respond and then the half wouldn't be 21-14?
It could have been. But the Eagles defense was playing well because we shut them down in the first half.
Right.
They had 14 points in the first half and 7 of them were for offense.
I get that, but to be up 24-14 and respond with 10 straight points right after that mistake is amazing. So I'm not going to say the fumble. The reason why the fumble even started is because the Eagles' offensive line went off sides on the 3rd and 1 when the Eagles were just going to do the quarterback sneak. That's completely unguardable. You can't you can't stop it. That play is unstoppable. And so that play set up the 3rd and 6, and that's when he fumbled. That's why that play actually happened, and it shouldn't have.
Can we also point to, my brother just pointed this out too, I'm glad he mentioned it, the Kes Watkins drop?
Yep.
I mean, bro, you're a professional wide receiver. You need to catch that. That was a great throw.
To beat the Chiefs, remember that one time?
You have to make those plays.
Remember, I think it was who dropped that ball in the Jags game. And that's when I was like, you got to make those plays.
Was what's this? Christian Kirk.
And
we said we were
I texted you. I said you got to make those plays to beat the Chiefs. And that's exactly what happened. And the Eagles would have cashed in. That would have been huge.
Yep.
It would have been a complete...
At that point, I would have actually been like, oh my God, we're really going to win the Super Bowl. Now, I did get that feeling. It was early as hell, but when he threw that bomb to A.J. Brown and he caught it.
That shit was nice.
What's up?
I was saying that shit was nice. Too.
I'm like, my God.
Yeah, that was nice as shit.
Like I'm like, are they really going to do this? Like that was in my head. I'm like, holy shit, we're really going to win the Super Bowl. Like we're really here. I mean, it really sucks. And then like with the holding call, like I get it. He tugged on him, but it looked like a throwaway.
It's tic-tacky.
Yeah, like, and the flag came from the end zone. It didn't come from the judge staring directly at Juju. It came from behind.
It was a bullshit call. I mean, like, I get it. It was a foul, and I know I hear people saying, if it's a foul, it's a foul. What do you like? There's no in the moment kind of thing. You're calling the game as you see it, and I get that. But the magnitude of the game, you basically ended the game right there.
Cool conspiracy theory. Carl Sheffer's crew, the head ref. His crew hasn't called that call in 576 snaps.
That's really weird.
That wasn't called 576 straight snaps.
Well, there's a lot of moments in the game where they missed calls that were completely blatant.
Yeah, well, they were letting them play.
Right.
And then when you see that, here's the thing. It ended the game, and it ended the chance at like a climatic ending, like an overtime, or if they go for 2 for the win or something like that. Jalen Hurts in that big moment. I mean, he played amazing. Jalen Hurts' best throw today for me is still the one to Dallas Goedert.
If they went for 2, that would have been nuts.
It would have been amazing, but we'll never know.
I know we'll never know.
The throw to Dallas Goedert on the sideline where he caught it on his helmet, that was the throw where I'm like, oh my God, because that throw was perfect.
Dude, the catch by Goddard, though.
I know. I was worried they weren't going to call it.
He was balling, Goddard.
Yeah.
He did his thing out there.
Absolutely.
Like, for real. He made some hard catches. Like, for real. Like, he
Devontae Smith, too, on that sideline one that they overturned.
The Eagles lost this game because their inability to run the football.
Yeah, can we talk about that real fast? Because
that's really what it was.
Can you explain to me what happened to Miles Sanders?
When you score quickly like that, you're not doing anything. But I mean, you're putting points on the board, and I get that. But you're also not giving your defense a breather too. But so that's why you got to run the football. You got to kill the clock. You got to shorten the game. When you play at Patrick Mahomes, you always got to shorten the game. You want to have 10, 12 play drives, chewing up 8 to 10 minutes.
Well, we did. We had the time of possession by, I think, 12 minutes. I think he
Right.
only had the ball for 24 minutes.
Right. But consistently, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're grinding the clock. You're running it down their throat. You're doing everything. And now you're more balanced.
Well, not for nothing. I bet Miles Sanders over 62.5 yards. I have no idea what happened to him. How do you play like that against the Giants and who they play in the second round? The 49ers and in the NFC Championship game. And then you come out in the Super Bowl and you stink. I mean, he was the third best running back on the fourth best because Isaiah Pacheco was better, Boston Scott was better, and so was Gainwell.
Well, he got hurt.
Who?
Sanders.
I mean,
He did.
What was his hand?
I'm not sure, actually. It was kind of like, it was weird. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him, but maybe his head or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's just like, it just sucks, man, because the game was there for the taking. And I mean, dude, it was so hard. It's so hard to get to that moment.
Yep.
And it's like, will they get back?
I mean, there's a lot of promise. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And the Eagles, like I was reading today, it's their $8 million over the cap. I mean, they're $8 million under the cap if Kelsey returned with his cap hit of $11.5 million. So if they restructure Jake Elliott, Darius Slay, and Lane Johnson, they'll have $33 million in cap space. Or I'm sorry, they'll create $25 million in cap space and have a total of 33. So they could still get free agents and keep the team together. Bradbury, you said like he doesn't want to play for cheap and stuff, but I would love to have Bradbury back.
Yeah, I probably would.
How could you not?
At the price, what are you willing to pay? Because you got to pay CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah, well, I think he's coming back.
He's priority number one.
Sure. Yeah.
Opinion.
He smacked.
He got fined by that.
Did he really?
Yep, he got fined for that. By the way,
he laid the wood on him.
That's a weird fine. Why is that a fine?
Because he led with his head. But he's a headhunter. He hits hard.
He hit him with his shoulder. He hit him right in the gut. That's what you're supposed to do.
I thought he hit him in his head, to be honest.
Nah, he didn't hit him in his head. His body shook.
Oh, I thought he hit him in his head because I was actually surprised when it happened that they didn't call it.
Right.
Because it was such a hard hit. And then you saw him talking shit to Juju on Twitter saying that he wanted to do that to him. And then 10 got it.
Yep. But yeah, so going back to the time of possession and everything, and I understand the Eagles dominated, but if you got to understand too, when the Eagles scored their first touchdown, they only took off 4 minutes and 51 seconds. Their second touchdown, they took off 2 minutes and 32 seconds. Third one was a good drive. They had 15 plays for 71 yards, took off 7 minutes and 19. Those are the drives that are monumental. And that was the second to the last drive before the half. That was a huge drive. That was amazing. Because then Kansas City punted, and then we went down and got a field goal for the last minute 22 remaining, which was huge. So the Eagles are up 24-14 at the half. Perfect. Then the Chiefs go down and they score 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Then we took off 7 minutes and 45 seconds, but we only got a field goal when it was 21-27. That's when you're like, oh shit, we only got a field goal. We took off all this time, we only got a field goal. And Kansas City's starting to really turn the quarter. Then the next drive, Kansas City scores a touchdown to make it 28-27. They only took up 4 minutes and 40 seconds. But then the Eagles punted. Casey goes down and scores again. And now you're looking at now we're playing catch up. But if you shorten the game and you limit the time of possession for them
and the opportunity,
you run the ball, because if the Eagles are scoring in 4 minutes, if you want to beat a Patrick Mahomes and a Tom Brady and a Peyton Manning, you got to keep them off the field as much as you can. I know they're scoring quickly, but the Eagles defense was playing really well in the first half. You know what I mean? So it was like we could have dominated off. I mean, the Eagles were dominating the first half, period. Outside that fumble, Kansas City didn't do shit against the Eagles. The second half, the bottom line was the Eagles got no pressure. They had 0 sacks in the game. They couldn't run the football. And I mean, look, if you want to blame the holding penalty, I got it. Cool. But I'm not that kind of person. It is what it is. I wouldn't have called that. I think it's bullshit. that they called it, but
Yeah,
I see
it's tough to live with.
I see the other side of saying, well, a foul's a foul. I got it. I got it. But it's like
it wasn't egregious enough.
But
to be
it's
called.
like I'm going 28 miles an hour in a 25, and you're gonna pull me over. That's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. And like I said, it sucks and it's unfortunate because like I said, it's hard to get back there and they were healthy.
Eagles were, yeah.
They're fully healthy.
Well, so were the Chiefs.
No, they didn't have McCall Hardman.
Well, whatever.
I mean, he's their
Fine.
number 2.
Fine.
So it's
Fine.
it's something. I mean, obviously it's a lot different if the Eagles are missing Devontae Smith as opposed to
he balled out too, man.
I know.
He balled out.
He's
The Eagles completely balled out. Their offense was amazing.
They had the most points ever by a Super Bowl losing team.
Their offense was, I mean, Jalen Hurts, he silenced every single critic out there. And you know what? This is the exact game that I was waiting for. Remember when the Eagles were blowing everybody out and he didn't have to do much in the playoffs? I was waiting for that Jalen Hurts game, that monumental game. Yeah, he lost, but this was his first Super Bowl. This is his first full year starting, and he took us to the Super Bowl and lost by 3. That's a respectable loss.
Anyway, he legitimately
went toe to toe.
100%.
With the best quarterback in the league.
And I mean, he outplayed him
in the biggest stage, and he outplayed him. Absolutely, you're correct.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and for all my people that say, like, when people say, "Oh, quarterback wins aren't a stat," okay, then why did Patrick Mahomes outplay Jalen Hurts? He didn't. He only outplayed him because he got the win.
Yep.
That's the only thing you could say because Jalen Hurts played better, and not for nothing, Travis Kelce said it himself. Travis Kelce said he arguably, even with the loss, could have been the MVP.
Yep.
So I just he threw for 300 yards, rushed for 3 touchdowns, threw another one. He had that one fumble is the only blemish of the game, and it was huge.
It was,
and like it really sucks for him because like he didn't deserve that.
But you can't give KC 7 points. You can't
do it.
7 points. They will bury you.
What he did? Mahomes only had 182 yards.
182 yards. He had 93 yards in the second half. He was 13 of 14, 93 yards in the second half.
I mean, so he had 90 yards or 87 yards, whatever, in the first half. That's that's crazy.
It was crazy. The Eagles were dominating his game the entire. I mean,
that first half was exactly what I thought.
Exactly.
I thought they wouldn't be because I said, and we actually said it on Sunday,
minus the lack of pressure.
Yeah, but I think it might have said it to when we were with Tom on Sunday, and I said if there's going to be a blowout, the Eagles are going to blow them out.
Yeah,
I mean it was right there for the taking.
It really was. The Eagles really dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah, like that's going to sting for a while. But somebody like Jalen Hurts, I truly believe that like he'll come back better because I think he's going to get in the lab, he's going to work, and I think all his guys are going to rally around him.
And the Eagles said the right things, even after losing. They said
took the high road.
They took the high road. They took it on the chin, pulse, and they. Yeah, I mean, like, hats off to the Eagles, dude. That's a mature football team. Honestly, they had that locker room is controlled.
You know what I feel like though? I feel like what can't be understated, the leadership of Nick Sirianni.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like correct. I mean, it's ridiculous. That whole team is together. Like I think like Lane Johnson's not retiring. I don't think Kelsey's retiring either.
I don't think so.
How do you retire right now with Hurts? He's a top 5 quarterback in the league.
You can't.
And it's inarguable that he's the best quarterback in the NFC.
Yep.
That's not even a question.
It's crazy because the Eagles are the better team now.
They are. They just didn't have the better quarterback and head coach that day. And which I said that when I pick playoff games, that's what I look at. Quarterback and head coach, the 2 most important things. And just to beat Mahomes, you have to capitalize on opportunities if he makes a mistake. You have to score touchdowns. And you need to do little things. You need to make that extra catch, gain that extra yard.
The Eagles never got that turnover. That turnover that changed the entire momentum of the game. That's what they were lacking.
Yeah.
If they got that one turnover, the Eagles are winning this football game. Period. End of story.
I agree.
Because the whole momentum would have switched. And the Eagles offense, they were moving the football like I said they would.
I thought easy.
They would exactly.
It really was easy.
It really was.
They were mowing them down.
And the Eagles were converting on 3rd down, which was huge. I mean, they're converting on 3rd and 14. Remember that pass to Goddard? I mean, that was amazing. And then Jalen Hurts rolled out and threw across his body to what was it, Watkins?
Yeah,
on the corner or Pascal. It was
Zach Pascal.
It was a beautiful play, a beautiful throw, like great awareness in the pocket, to the ability to roll out and keep his eyes downfield and deliver the football. Right, it was just
the
amazing
pass.
play.
I'm telling you, like the pass when he made that pass to Goddard. I was actually in the second half because we were together.
Yep.
And that was when I was like, okay, like Jalen Hurts really can, like his legs are just an added bonus, but he can really deliver throwing the football.
He could throw the ball. Absolutely can. Yeah, he's really good at that.
And I know, like we said this before when we were talking about Lamar Jackson and things like that. He's a better passer than Lamar Jackson.
Easy.
And it's crazy to think that because I think Lamar Jackson's.
It's not crazy to think that. It's actually,
I'm saying personally because I think Lamar Jackson's a better passer than people give him credit for. But I'm just saying, like in the moment, the amount of growth that Jalen Hurts had in 1 year is just, it's like immeasurable. Because I don't think he was making that throw last year and especially his first year.
I know. Congrats to your Chiefs, John Clifford.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Congrats, man. I forgot you were a Chiefs.
Congrats.
Yeah, that was
we're hurting over here, but congrats.
I'm down bad over here.
I hope you enjoyed the parade today.
Monday was terrible. Monday
was awful.
Like that was really a shitty morning.
Because it's like, damn, how the fuck did they lose?
I can't. I honestly can't. I can't believe it.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the Eagles lost. It's just, it was one of those things. I'm just like, how did that happen? We had the game in our hands.
I know. What do you think is their outlook for next year? Because for me, I think the future is like really bright. Like you see how Jerry Jones was saying, like we went all in this year, we're gonna have trouble in the future. Like I don't see that. We still have 2 first-round picks and a top 10 pick.
Well, do you know who our free agents are?
Like 11 people or 9 people. CJ, GJ, Bradbury, Miles Sanders. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Who are you keeping? Are you keeping any of them?
I'm keeping CJ. I'm keeping Bradbury. I'm letting Miles walk because I think Gainwell's better. And I think Boston Scott's fine as a 2. I mean, I've been campaigning. I've been on the record, you too, saying we would take Boston Scott over Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's where I am. I know there's a bunch more. I just can't think of them off the top of my head right now.
Okay. So Fletcher Cox.
I think he retires. But if he comes back, I would take him on a 1-year deal.
Brandon Graham.
I would sign him. Hargrave's leaving. Kelsey's coming back.
Bradbury.
Keep him.
Let's see. Kaiser White. He actually had a pretty solid year with us.
He wasn't bad. I think he goes though.
TJ Edwards.
I think he's good. I like TJ Edwards.
Sue and Joseph, they're probably out.
Sue's out. Joseph's out.
Boston Scott. I think he's going to have a decent market.
Yeah. Actually, I forgot that Boston Scott was a free agent. I really forgot until you said that, and they're not going to franchise tag him. So you figure
Sanders, Gardner Johnson, Tyree Jackson, and Marcus Epps. Marcus Epps can hit the high road.
Yeah, he's out. I'm good on Marcus Epps.
Yeah.
No, I think they're going to bring back the majority of them because I think it's a testament to Sirianni's leadership. I think they all love Jalen Hurts, and we can afford to pay them. Because you got to remember, you have Hassan Reddick on a bargain. Like a lot of players you have on a bargain. Now it's going to matter what Jalen Hurts does. Like I think Jalen Hurts is going to take the Mahomes route. I think he's going to sign, 8 years and space the money out.
Does Brandon Graham command big money along with Kelsey? Like what's their market?
I think Brandon Graham has a bigger market.
Like Kelsey deserves to be the highest paid center.
Yeah.
Or at least top 3.
Yeah. I think he's he makes 11.5 this year, Kelsey. Next year.
He made 9 million.
Yeah, and next year it's 11.5. So it goes up.
Well, he's an unrestricted free agent.
No, he is. No, Jason Kelsey. No, he's not.
He's not.
I didn't think Jason Kelsey was.
That's what it says here.
Oh, I didn't think he was, to be honest.
I don't know. That's what it says here.
That's weird. I didn't know that. I thought that if he signed back, that he was an $11.5 million cap hit.
Oh, maybe it's an option.
Yeah, he probably think he has an option. I think it was. I think it was a player option because of the retirement thing. So that would make sense. But I would try and keep the majority of the band together.
Well, yeah, Kelsey's not leaving. That's not happening.
Yeah, he's either retiring or he's playing.
So, but on defense, and running back, what do you do?
I definitely, Gainwell is my 1 moving forward. I would let Howie sign somebody.
I don't know if Gainwell is a 1.
Would you bring back Sanders?
I would look into Josh Jacobs.
No way.
Why? Explain.
Too much money. The Eagles scheme is good enough with Jalen Hurts where you don't need a high profile running back that's going to cost you probably 15 to 20 million.
You think so? You think he's getting 15, 20 million?
Absolutely.
I don't think that.
I think he's getting the 15 million range.
No shot.
I'm telling you.
I think
he just led the league in rushing.
So what?
I think he's getting paid.
A team has to be willing to pay that. Though.
Yeah, I think he's
Good
getting
on the-
paid.
I think he's going to get about 11, 12 million.
I would be shocked. I would take him for 11 million. Absolutely, I would take Josh Jacobs for 11 million.
I think so.
But because I like Josh Jacobs, I'm just saying I think he's going into the 15 range. 20 was too high. I shouldn't have said that, but I think he's in the 15 million range. Absolutely.
I don't know.
Bro, he was on a contract year and was the leading and was the whatchamacallit?
Just because
the rushing leader.
Yeah, but just because that's the market value.
Or we draft Bijan Robinson. Ryan Shute said that.
My thing is Derrick Henry makes about 14 million.
Yeah.
So
he also runs the ball 75 times a game, so he earns that money.
Yeah, no, he deserves to get 20 million based on your scale, because if Josh Jacobs is supposed to get 15 to 20, King Henry should get the max.
Well, I believe, not for nothing, at 20 million for Derrick Henry in Tennessee.
I get it. The market, the market changes every single year. The cap goes up, everything. I get it. I get the logistics of it.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I just a team has to be willing to pay that. And I don't know if there's teams out there that are necessarily running back hungry outside of the Buffalo Bills, the Eagles. And I don't think the Bills have enough space to even make a splash like that. So
the Bills are in hell.
So my thing is, there's got to be a team that has to be willing to do it. I mean, if you look at the team like the Texans, they have a running back. They're not going to break the bank for another one. So I'm looking at the lower tier teams that have a lot of cap space.
What about the Raiders? What if he signs back with the Raiders for 15 million?
Maybe the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears are good too. Well, now the Bears are talking about a couple GMs think Justin Fields is going to be available
based on their conversations at the scout combine.
Yeah, which is, it's a different argument for it. I'm not against it. Like, I understand having the conversation, but I think I don't get it. Because I don't think Stroud or the other guy, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. What's his name?
I like the smoke of it though.
It's interesting
because I feel like it gives the Bears a little bit of flexibility, because if you got teams calling for Justin Fields, then you know his worth. Then you can go and scout a quarterback in the draft that you might really like. And if you want to pull that trigger, you have a deal lined up and you can kind of formulate your team moving forward. The Bears are the bottom of the barrel right now, bro. You know what I mean? Like, is it fair for Justin Fields? No,
it's not. It's not fair for anybody that goes.
No,
it sucks.
But the NFL is such a business; they don't give a fuck about your feelings.
They did it to Josh Rosen.
They just don't care.
They drafted. They moved up to draft the Cardinals moved up to draft Josh Rosen at number 11 with Steve Wilkes. Steve Wilkes got fired because Josh Rosen was horrible, and then they traded Josh Rosen to Miami or something like that, or Minnesota, and they fired Steve Wilkes after 1 year, hired Cliff Kingsbury, and drafted Kyler Murray 1 overall.
That's what I mean. Like, they don't care about your feelings. So,
yeah, not at all.
If the Bears were to move on, they wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. No,
it wouldn't. It's hard. That's a tough situation for the Bears because they need picks and they need more players. Because Justin Fields
picks, and they already have the fucking top draft pick.
Because Justin Fields is going to die behind that offensive line. Any quarterback that's not mobile will, because that offensive line.
The number 1 overall pick. They had the number 1 overall pick. If they trade Justin Fields, they can get multiple first rounders, multiple picks. They can go out. They can go get wide receivers from those picks, or beef up the offensive line. They'll have plethora of first round picks dedicated to the offensive line.
What do you think Fields would go for in a trade? Do you think they get a first for him?
Oh my God! At first, they would probably get like two first.
You think?
Absolutely, they would. Yeah, he's young. He's proved that he can be successful in the right system. Yeah, a team is going to be willing to pay for that, because not many talents of his that he possesses are available. So if a team that needs a quarterback,
I wonder what team could do it.
Man, that's a good question.
Maybe if the Ravens
Atlanta.
Maybe if the Ravens trade Lamar to Atlanta and the Ravens need a quarterback because he's still on their rookie deal.
Atlanta
could do it.
But I think Atlanta is going to get Lamar Jackson.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they trade him for Lamar, then couldn't the Ravens jump in and take Justin Fields?
The Ravens could. Oh, that's a good.
He's still on his rookie deal.
That's smart.
And Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson
think about that.
They're comparable.
But then again, I think the Ravens would be taking a major step back.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just saying. I'm just looking at
and I don't know how that would fare well with the Ravens organization as a whole, players and internally.
Well, think about it. If you do trade Lamar, at least with Fields, you're getting somebody that you know has talent. It's not like you're going to like Mike Glennon.
I get it, but you're trading Lamar Jackson, who is a monster, former MVP in his league, for somebody who's really unproven.
Yeah,
he's still unproven. Like, he hasn't proven shit. Like, he only proved to me that he has the ability to escape the pocket, make big yards, score touchdowns. I get that,
and run.
Yeah, but he hasn't shown the ability to deliver the football. But that's just due to his situation.
I was gonna say
offensive line, no wide receivers. Like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like it's still unknown that he can do that.
Yeah, and it's like it's tough because it is circumstantial, and it's like that's why I was freaking out when they traded the 2nd round pick for Claypool, because I'm like, he's not a difference maker. Claypool's a 3. He's not a 2 or a 1. He's damn sure not a 1.
What do you think the Bears can get for Fields?
I would say maybe a 1st and a 2nd, maybe. I don't think that when you evaluate Justin Fields, I look at Justin Fields and I'm like, okay, he can run, he can escape pressure, he can escape the pocket, and he can make those electric plays on his legs, like Lamar and Vic and Hurts and all those guys. But my point is that there were throws to win games and throws that you need to make when you're one of those top guys that he was missing, like routine ass throws. And that's where I think they'll have issues, because it's like, okay, yes, the running was great, and I know the line is bad, and he doesn't have good wide receivers, but there were times where the line held up, the wide receivers were in. I mean, the wide receivers were in position, and he was overthrowing them out of the end zone. It wasn't even like they were close. And I know, look, it's better to overthrow than underthrow.
Exactly what play you're referring to. He overthrew Cole Kmet, and
it was to win the game, the right side of the end zone. And that's what I look at, because I'm like, if I was a talent evaluator or I'm a film guy, I look at him and I'm like, okay, talent is there.
Yep.
Seems like a nice guy. Seems like he works hard. Skips dinner with his family because he wants to study his playbook. I'll never get over that. But when you look at what it takes to be a quarterback, it's like, all right, there are throws there that you need to make, and everybody does miss them. But there's just certain ones that you can't. And he was missing, again, by 5 and 6 yards. It wasn't like he was just a little bit short or a little bit out of reach.
You think he's a franchise quarterback?
Justin Fields?
Yeah.
I have doubts, but I can't fairly judge him because the offensive line's the worst in the league, and the wide receiver core is horrible.
Do you know how many times he got sacked this year?
7,000.
55 times. He's been sacked 91 times in his entire career. In 27 games, he's been sacked 91 times.
Now look,
that's 4 games.
That's 4 games. Now look, there's somebody comparable to him, Joe Burrow, getting sacked at a high rate. But the difference is that Joe Burrow is that guy, because Joe Burrow is his arm.
Well, he also has T. Higgins, Jamar Chase.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, but when you're getting beat up like that, I'm just saying Joe Burrow can deliver the football.
Yeah, but it also helps to have weapons around you that can actually get it open. So
of course, I'm not saying that.
When all hell breaks loose, you're able to deliver the football.
But here's the problem:
you're going to take a hit, but you're also going to get the first down.
Here's the problem with Fields. Fields is never going to be that guy. Fields is never going to be the one in the pocket and knows he's going to get leveled and wait for his 2nd or 3rd read and deliver the ball. Fields is breaking the pocket and running, because that's what Fields is. That's what his abilities are. That's just what he is.
I wonder do you think they're actually going to trade him?
If they get an offer of a 1st and a 2nd round pick, or like you said, where you get 2 first round picks, yeah, absolutely. They need an offensive line. They need wide receivers. Why not? Why not?
Do you think that so like, my thing is this:
if you could trade the Colts and just go back this 5 or 6, I think they are, you're going to still be able to get one of those quarterbacks, and you could rebuild your entire line and pick up 3 or 4 draft picks. Absolutely.
Do you think the Bears fear injury with Fields? Because I say that because it's like, okay, the Bears know who they are. They don't have an offensive line. They don't have any wide receivers. Now, if they can't address that, now you're going to have the same situation, and Fields is going to be getting sacked another 50 times. And now, all right, what do we do now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by them trading Fields and to gain draft picks, you're now completely imploding the entire team. But
I mean, they only won 4 games.
Here's the positive outlook if you do that. You'll draft a quarterback, completely fresh, number 1 overall pick. You'll have multiple picks to get offensive line. I believe the Bears have the second or the most cap space in free agency. There you go.
You know who could be?
That would be interesting.
You know who's a team that could trade for him? Just thought the Colts. Why not?
I don't see a fit there.
I do. They just got Steichen.
You think
he works with running quarterbacks? The Colts could do it because if they offered the 6th pick, I think the Bears would take it. I think the Bears would take the 6th overall pick for him and maybe a 2nd or a 3rd. And if the Colts do that, the Colts now have a running quarterback that fits Shane Steichen's scheme. You have Michael Pittman Jr.
Oh, he's podding right now.
Why not?
I like that. I really like that. That's actually
who says no?
Really
Think about that. If you're the GM of the Bears, who says no? We'll give you the 6th pick and our 3rd rounder. Who says no?
I mean, yeah, because at that point they already have the number 1 overall. They're just
at that point the Bears just add 2 picks. Now they have 2 inside the top 10. You can get a quarterback at 1 or 6, even if you're not sold on Stroud. You can get it at 1 or 6. There you go.
Yeah, that's where it's like, okay, I think his name's being fished out there because it gives the Bears time to really evaluate everything because they had the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure it's going to happen, but to me, it's
interesting.
It is interesting. And I don't hate it. I think it's a little bit premature to get rid of the quarterback when you haven't given him anything. And I think it's unfair.
That. You said it. You said you didn't think Justin Fields was going to be the quarterback next year.
I didn't think that. I said if they had a bad year this year, I think the Bears are going to really reevaluate everything. And
which I understand because Ryan Poles didn't draft him.
Well, Stroud. I mean, you have Stroud. You got Bryce Young.
That's what I couldn't think of for some reason.
Bryce Young. Yeah. Bryce Young's probably going to get number 1.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't think of. I kept saying Stroud, but I couldn't think of Bryce Young's name.
So you get Bryce Young
or Will Levis. They said, but I don't think he'll go first.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it'll be a top 5, Panthers or Colts, unless the Colts do that deal. But
there isn't a top 10 pick in this year's class for offensive lineman is Paris Johnson from Ohio State. So if you're looking at that, it's not bad.
Yeah.
You can get your tackle and you can get a quarterback.
That's why I said, who says no?
It's crazy, dude. Like as you get older and you actually really understand the game of football and you look at it from an actual analysis standpoint, you really start to really appreciate the offensive line. It's not a sexy pick. It's not like, oh my God, we got CJ Stroud. Nah, we got Paris Johnson, who's going to take care of your fucking defensive end all day long. That's offensive tackles and offensive linemen in general are the key components to winning a Super Bowl. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. You're never going to win.
Well, why did the Rams beat the Bengals last year? They dominated them at the line of scrimmage.
They dominated the trenches. That's how you win. And the Eagles, that's why the Eagles lost, because they weren't able to dominate the trenches.
Yeah.
And I believe it was due to a lot of factors. And I don't make excuses, but the field was fucking awful.
I don't even know how that happened.
I mean, you could watch if you watch the game again, which I did, it was on NFL Network, and I was paying attention to the defensive line. You could see our defensive line completely on the ground, slipping almost half, 50% of the plays. It negates your pass rush.
I just thought of this. Remember what Jimmy just commented and said running backs don't matter. What if the Eagles went and tried to get Tony Pollard?
Oh, like a DeMarco Murray kind of deal?
Yeah.
I don't see that.
I'm just saying it could.
That would be crazy. That would be some shit. But I don't see that happening. I think the Cowboys
Me neither.
make him a priority.
But I'm just throwing
because Zeke looks like it's either a pay cut or he's getting released.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to restructure him, to be honest. If they sign Pollard again, I think they will, because you could still use him. I mean, he's still okay. I don't think he's totally washed. He's not Zeke anymore. He's Ezekiel.
Yeah, he's not Zeke.
No, he's Ezekiel.
Yeah. He's Ezekiel.
All right, so I don't know how we just went on that big tangent, but
That
go
was
back to
fire.
the Eagles real fast. Where do you think Patrick Mahomes ranks all time? Because I've been seeing some crazy shit. Because I can start off like this: is he better than Tom Brady? No. Is he better than Joe Montana? I'm just saying Joe Montana because I didn't see Joe Montana, but when you look at the Super Bowl numbers, no. Is he better than Peyton Manning? I don't believe so. I think he's better than Aaron Rodgers already. I think he's better than Brett Favre. Well, I don't know. I think he's better than Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to say I think he's better than Brett Favre. I think he's better than Marino, even though I didn't see Marino, but, you got to win those big games. I think he's already better than Drew Brees. So I think right now, looking at it, I think Mahomes really is already a top 10 quarterback. And it's tough to say that because, well, it's not really.
You think he's better than Drew Brees? Like, bro, and this is my beef with the whole thing because I saw this all over social media.
Mhm.
I found it very intriguing, but it's like, all right, the guy plays 6 years, right? 5 years of starting. You're telling me this guy's 5 years completely negates Drew Brees' 18 years of complete masterful quarterback play?
I mean, here's the thing. I don't think Drew Brees is a top 5 quarterback to begin with.
Well,
So that's a little bit different. I know you do.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, so for me, I don't think like after Brady, Manning, and Montana, who can you say is definitively better than him?
Like, because like a lot of people like to hang on to these MVP awards, and I get it. Like, the MVP is cool and all, but like it's also like meh at this point.
Well, I mean,
like Drew Brees never won an MVP. That's fucking ridiculous.
I know. That's crazy stuff.
That's literally ridiculous.
But like you think when you look, he has 2 regular season MVPs and 2 Super Bowl wins. Montana, Steve Young, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Mahomes. Those are the only 5 quarterbacks that ever did it. He's only been playing for 5 years. Tom Brady played for 20. Manning played for
23.
23. Manning played for what? 18. Montana
like
Young, something like that. So he's already accomplished what those legends did in only 5 years. I mean, like, here's the thing. I think it's disrespectful to Tom Brady when you start saying that, and even Peyton Manning for that matter, and the older heads, they should feel the same way for Montana. Like I said, I wasn't even born. But when you compare the start of his career, I understand why people are going there. And it's crazy because when you compare him to Brady at age 27, I mean, he's ahead of Brady in almost everything. I mean, he's tied with some things, but as far as the individuality, because here's the thing, we all know this, when Tom Brady started, Tom Brady was like a mid-level game manager, and he just ballooned and blossomed into
he got better,
their best ever. But the problem is Patrick Mahomes, as soon as he started playing, was already at the top of his game.
So I found this interesting. Mahomes' MVP season this year, he had 5,250 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions.
Yep.
Drew Brees, who never won the MVP, had a season where he threw for 5,476 yards, 46 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions.
How many touchdowns?
46.
Oh, I thought you said 26. I'm like, that sounds low.
46 touchdowns.
What year was that?
14 This is 2011 Drew Brees.
So that year, 2011, Aaron Rodgers won the MVP, right?
Maybe.
That was the year they went 15-1.
Yeah.
No, somewhere around there. But I think it was Aaron Rodgers, 2011 NFL MVP.
So is the award strictly, what's the award based off of? Because if you look at Drew Brees,
it was Aaron Rodgers.
Drew Brees was wild, fam.
Well, here's the thing.
But next year, Drew Brees, 2012, 5,177 yards passing, 43 touchdowns, and 19 picks. The 19 picks were really high. I got it. But the man was balling, bro.
Yeah. I still think it's wild that Drew Brees never won an MVP.
Then the next year, he had 39 and 12 with over 5,000 yards again in 2013. Like, dude, this guy has been consistent as hell and never won an MVP. Like, it's crazy. The stats are the same as Mahomes.
Here's the problem.
In those years.
This is
outside of rushing. If you really want to count that, I mean, it's a different era, and they're 2 different quarterbacks.
Yeah, but I just like when I look at it, it's just like Mahomes came on so strong and so fast, and it feels like he was at his peak his first year starting. I mean, to lose Tyreek Hill and he set the record. He beat Drew Brees. He threw for 5,600 yards. So it's just like with Mahomes. I mean, like there's no denying it, and I don't know how you even outside. It's just acceptance. Like he is really that good.
His way?
It did this week. Sunday reminded me that was a Tom Brady call. Like that would be the way that Tom Brady beat somebody in a Super Bowl or he beat Manning when I was in my Manning days. That play exactly was what I remembered. Something stupid like that where it's just like that dude would get that call in that moment.
And the fumble.
Yeah, stupid shit like that. I didn't even think of that. That's hilarious because But sometimes those quarterbacks just get the bounce. And it seems like Mahomes is going to get that. And like we laughed. And when people say like, oh, what does Mahomes, like, remember when me and you were talking, we weren't potting about it, but we were saying like, what would Mahomes have to do to be in the conversation to beat Brady? And I said, the first thing he would have to do is because he's going to blow him out statistically. And it's a combination of things, athletic and just the era now. Quarterbacks are protected. They throw the ball every play. You know what I mean? Like he's going to have a 6,000-yard passing season in the next few years.
I mean, he already has. Well, he already has 24,000 passing yards.
So that's what I mean. He's going to blow him out on that. But I said he would need 5 rings to have the conversation. And at this point, I don't like if he has 2 Super Bowls, right, in his first 5 years. If somebody set his over and under right now, right, at 3 or 3.5. You're not betting the under, and you had to place a large wager on it. Like, say you had to put your house on it.
But check this out, though. If you would have said that about Aaron Rodgers, you would have been dead fucking wrong.
Not me. I never liked Aaron Rodgers.
I'm just saying, if you had his Super Bowls at over 2.5, you'd be like, oh, I'm taking the over. Right after 2010 when they won. Easy. You're taking the over, bro.
Yeah.
So,
well, most people would. I was a Rodgers hater, so I probably, out of arrogance and my ego, I probably would have just said under. But I know, and that's a great point. I love that point, seriously, because nobody would have thought Aaron Rodgers would never even get to one, let alone win one.
The league gets better as the years come.
Now, here's the thing. Like we say, with Mahomes, it's going to be difficult because Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, it looks like, all the premier quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the gap between him and the next best quarterback is after Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, you literally at that point could have, we're going to do a topic on this, top 5 quarterbacks heading in the next season.
Okay.
But my point is, after those two, you could argue any which way. Herbert, Lawrence, Allen, Hurts, Lamar. You could just start falling after that.
You're saying after the top 2?
After the top 2, you could kind of put it any way you want.
Why is Joe Burrow just a slam dunk ahead of Jalen Hurts?
Traditional.
The fuck does that mean?
He's a traditional quarterback. If I had to start a franchise right now, I would start a franchise with Joe Burrow over Jalen
I got
Hurts.
you. Okay.
The only 2 quarterbacks in the game.
Why?
I think he's more. Actually, I can't say more poised because I think Jalen Hurts is more poised.
Appreciate the pocket pass. I mean,
he's a pocket passer.
Jalen Hurts could do it all, though. Yeah, he could pass, bro.
To me, Joe Burrow just has the it. And it's just, there's something about, I said he's my favorite player in the league.
I think Jalen Hurts has the it. Too.
I do too. But if you were
to respond like that, 35-27, to respond like that and score a touchdown and then get the 2-point conversion on your back.
Yeah.
To put the team to tie the game in the Super Bowl, that's got to mean something, man.
Let me tell you why. And it kind of, here's the thing. Jalen Hurts had 2.
Because Hurts played better than Burrow did in the Super Bowl.
Hurts also has the best offensive line in the game and 2 top 10 wide receivers and an elite tight end.
But he's utilized them well.
I understand that.
If he was playing poorly, then you can
that.
trash him for it. But he's playing really well. You can't really negate that.
I know that, but I'm telling you that's the way I'm viewing it. Like, I don't know if Jalen Hurts would have went to Cincinnati and been able to do that behind the offensive line. I think Patrick Mahomes can, and we know Joe Burrow can. So I'm just being objective. I'm being objective towards Hurts.
Well, if he had a poor offensive line, I would want a running quarterback because then he can escape the pocket.
That didn't do Justin Fields very well.
Well, I know, but at least he had T. Higgins and he had Jamar Chase.
I'm with you.
I think Jalen Hurts would be really successful.
I think if you had to ask me, and I'll just reveal it, Jalen Hurts to me is the third best quarterback in the NFL heading in the next year.
Wow, we have to do a topic on that.
We're going to do it on Tuesday.
Because that is interesting because, I love Josh Allen, but I have a lot to think about.
Yeah,
because that Super Bowl performance really impressed me.
It was amazing. Me too, because we were talking about it.
Regardless of the loss, that sucks. That stings. It hurts the game itself. But that game when I watched it, I was like, wow, this guy's
him.
He's a fucking beast.
He's got everything.
Straight up, he's our quarterback.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. He's our quarterback.
And it sucks because I love Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is probably my
He's
second favorite player in the NFL. Because I'm just a really big Joe Burrow fan. Like, I love Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And so to me, I would have those two. But then after that, like I said, and I think Jalen Hurts has earned the 3 going in the next year. But it's just, when I see them, man, I'm just like Joe Burrow just has like, I'm never worried. I'm never worried. And I don't know if Jalen Hurts comes out and does that next year, maybe he'll be there too. But I don't think Joe Burrow is going anywhere either.
You think Jalen Hurts makes another step? Like, what are you looking for to Jalen Hurts in the offseason to get better at?
Still the passing. I still want him to improve as a passer. And I think he improves beyond anyone's expectations. It's just, I still want to see that.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what the improvements that you talking about? Like,
just accuracy, pinpoint, decision making. Like, those are just things that you just continuously improve.
You're talking about like timing of the throws and just being on the same page with your receivers, like doing like the quick out routes. And
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's kind of hard when you watch this season back. It's kind of hard. Jalen Hurts wasn't an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
but like,
even know
here's the thing. When you always have to get better.
Of course, so, but I can't really. There's not one glaring thing anymore.
And he doesn't make bad decisions. And that's what I'm talking about. So for me, I would just say keep working on his accuracy, timing of his throws.
I would say, yeah.
Just get more pinpoint. But he was accurate as shit all year. So that's where I am. So am I. I think he's awesome. Yeah. And he has the intangibles. He has all the shit you can't teach, similar to Mahomes and similar to Burrow. But yeah, with going back to Mahomes, the gap between, for me, him and the next best quarterback is huge. And then after that, when you rank them all time, it's an interesting conversation because it's like when you start saying that he's already top 5 or he's approaching that, it's like when you really look at it, it's like, not to be a prisoner of the moment, but his first 5 years are the most impressive 5 years in the history. They really are. I mean, it's 2 rings, 2 Pro Bowls. I'm sorry, 2 rings, 5 Pro Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 MVPs, 192 touchdowns, 1 Offensive Player of the Year, 2 first-team All-Pros, 24,000 yards, and 49 interceptions.
You know what I'd rather have? 3 Super Bowl rings in 5 years.
Yeah.
That's what I'd rather have.
Maybe.
A Super Bowl ring?
What?
I would trade a Super Bowl ring for all the accolades.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of people would. I'm just saying that in response to that, I'm just saying, like, with him, it's crazy to think about.
I know.
It's really crazy to think about that. If he retired now, he's a Hall of Famer. And he's already approaching top 5. He isn't if he retired today, he's a top 10 quarterback ever.
Wow.
How isn't he? How isn't he?
That is really tough, man.
Because it's so early. It's just he hit his peak.
I know.
His first year. It's crazy.
I just find it disrespectful for the guys that has played.
I know.
And, they played for years. They played in a different era too, man.
It's a lot different.
Andy Reid. They didn't have those guys.
Well, here's the thing. Andy Reid never won until he got Patrick Mahomes.
I know.
So Andy Reid, he's got to get credit. Andy Reid won, but he never won the big one.
I got it.
Now he squeezed all the juice out of Donovan McNabb. That's a fact.
Ceiling.
But that was Donovan's ceiling. He got to the Super Bowl. He just couldn't make like that play to help his coach.
That's like a Jimmy G kind of thing.
His coach, Andy Reid, helped McNabb. McNabb couldn't make that one play to help
McNabb
Andy.
helped Andy Reid too, though.
I said McNabb was very underrated.
Absolutely.
McNabb was a great quarterback. He was a great quarterback. He dominated the 2000s.
He was a good quarterback.
He was dominant in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying Andy Reid never won with him. And then he got Mahomes, and now he's got 2 Super Bowls in 5 years.
You know how I feel about Andy Reid. I think he's awesome. Man.
So do I. I think he's
top 3.
He's a top 5 ever, and we're gonna do that topic too, so we can actually like read into it and see what we do. Yeah,
definitely.
But all right, let's do some more regular NFL talk.
All right. Wrap up with Super Bowl, man.
Jonathan Gannon was hired by the Cardinals. I think that's embarrassing. How do you hire a coach as a head coach after seeing that second half performance?
Was Kyler involved in this? Because apparently he was supposed to be have a say. I kind of find it hard to believe that Kyler Murray would want to have a defensive coordinator as a head coach.
There's no way. If you're Kyler Murray, how do you not want Bieniemy?
Or is the Cardinals looking to move on?
That's interesting, but no, they can't be because of his contract and he's hurt.
Well, the contract, somebody could take it on. right?
You
What
need
if-
a lot of money.
What if the Colts want him?
I don't think Steichen will want to do that because you're not getting him till they said roughly because he's going to start the year on the PUP list. So he's not coming back till mid-October at the earliest.
Just saying. Just throwing it out there. I don't know. I don't see the Gannon and Kyler relationship.
I don't get
see that. I just, to me, they're two different personalities. I don't know. I don't love it. Honestly, I don't love it. I mean, I know the Cardinals need defense. I get it. But at the same time, when Gannon has when his defenses have faced elite quarterbacks, they have gotten shredded.
Smacked. He got shredded by Dak.
Shredded.
Dak's good. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying the Eagles defense is terrible. I'm not. But he certainly didn't put them in the best position to be successful against elite quarterbacks. I don't know the stats, but every game that I saw against elite quarterbacks, they have gotten shredded completely. And I don't know. I just don't love this hire. I don't.
I'm confused by it, to be honest.
It almost seems like premature. Or were the Cardinals in on them all the way? Because they said they were going to announce a head coach after the Super Bowl. Maybe they were waiting for Gannon to be done with the Super Bowl and he wasn't taking any interviews because he wanted to focus on the big game, or because that does happen.
Yeah, no,
Some
I know it was
coaches
just
do
so
take a liberty.
fast.
Yeah, some coaches say, "Fuck that! I want to focus on the big game, and then I'll get back to you after the bowl." You know what I mean? And that's respectful.
Well, they're
That's
saying
fine.
the NFL now might ban all that until after the Super Bowl.
They should.
Which I love because I would
should.
be pissed off too if my offensive coordinator is getting ready for the Super Bowl and he's interviewing with the Colts.
Yep, they should. Get rid of it.
On the subject of
Don't
that,
worry, though.
Shane Steichen, me neither. I think it was a terrible hire. Horrible. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
He'll be there no longer than 2 years.
Mhm.
Shane Steichen and hired by the Colts. I think it's a slam dunk.
Me too.
He's awesome.
Did you see his presser?
No.
It
I
was
did not.
amazing. He like named all the Eagles.
Oh yeah, he shouted them out one by one.
That was cool, man. That shows that he could be involved in players' lives.
Personal connection. And he learned that from Nick Sirianni because Nick Sirianni said he talks to Hurts and all that stuff.
Yep.
So again, that's
I
just
love it.
learning.
I think it's a slam dunk by the Colts. They finally did something right.
And they just need a quarterback.
I was getting worried about them because there was a lot of reports saying that Jeff Saturday was the front runner, and I was like, what? Yeah.
I hate the Colts. I wish they would have hired him because I can't stand Jim Irsay.
Yeah.
And I just want to watch that team suffer.
You think they'll turn it around with him? I mean,
if Irsay stays out of it and lays off the cocaine, yeah.
Well, they need a quarterback. I mean, where do they go? Do you think they go for a veteran, or do you think they're going for a rookie quarterback? Because
honestly,
I honestly think they should go for a rookie quarterback.
Nick, honestly, up until today, I didn't really know. I thought they were going to draft one. But after mentioning that Justin Fields stuff, I just thought of that right off the top. I'm actually really intrigued by that.
I like it.
I'm intrigued by that bigly.
Where do the Colts draft?
6th, I think.
They're 6th?
I think.
That's right. You did say that earlier. I got to pay attention a little bit better.
Well, what's known doesn't need to be said.
That's crazy. Be wild disrespectful for that. But 6, yeah, they get a quarterback at 6.
Absolutely. Probably Will Levis.
Or they'll have to move up a couple spots.
Yeah, because Carolina is in front of them. Carolina is at 5.
I think Carolina is going to get Derek Carr.
I know you said that, but I'm just saying in the event that they don't.
Yeah, that's a topic. My bad.
Tyreek Hill goes on Twitter, says Mahomes and Kelsey are the greatest duo ever. I laugh at this.
Why?
Because they're just not.
Who is?
The greatest duo ever? I mean, look, it's easy to say Montana and Jerry Rice, but I would say the best duo I've ever seen. I would have to say Manning and Harrison.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting somebody else.
Who?
I was going to say Brady and Gronk.
Well, I thought I was going to say that too.
Yeah. I would say Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison.
I thought he was saying that, Phil.
I thought
in my head, I was like, I knew exactly where he's going. That's not.
Well, I think they're better.
I
think
even I had that in mind.
I think Brady and Gronk are better too. If we're talking that, I think Brady and Gronk are better. And I think if you line up on a field, are you more scared of Mahomes and Kelsey, or are you more scared of Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning?
The funny thing is that Brady's head coach has always been a defensive coordinator, right? Never had an offensive mind. He was the entire offense.
Who?
Brady. He got Bill O'Brien these jobs, and Bill O'Brien did pretty well with the Texans.
I'm actually
I'll be honest with that.
I'm a fan of Bill O'Brien, the coach.
The coach, not the GM.
Not the GM.
Agreed.
Yes.
He was really good in Houston. I would say so. He went to the playoffs. They had really good defenses. They had J.J. Watt in his prime.
I don't know. Everybody loved
Brian Cushion, all of them guys.
Everybody loved Deshaun Watson. Who was his coach? Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien.
I don't know.
I like Bill O'Brien. Yeah, personal. But anyway, he had Josh McDaniels. You see how he's unfolded. But like, he's never if Brady had a read or something, like the stats would be there and it would be glaring. I get it. But Brady and Gronk, they had a special connection where they worked on it day in and day out. They worked on the craft. They had like secret hand signals. They just knew where Brady knew where he was going to be.
Where would he go every 3rd and 5?
And the ability to take those shots in the middle of the field, like he was taking a beating, bro. Gronk, he would.
That's why he was breaking his neck, his back, everything, his ribs.
He was playing with a brace on his arm. He became like part of his uniform.
Robo Man.
Yeah, and so he's taking some shots, but man, there was nobody more dominant than Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady. I mean, that was the best duo I've seen, for real, in my opinion. I think so. They were dominant.
They were lethal.
They didn't have a wide receiver that threatened you. They just had Gronk. You knew Gronk was going to get the ball. You knew he was going to get the ball, and he would still dominate. It didn't matter. It did not matter. His size, his physicality against the defense was a mismatch every time. He was a nightmare. Yeah. I would say Brady and Gronk.
And like I said, I think that they are better too. I'll reiterate that. It's just for me, Manning and Harrison, man, they were my favorite growing up. I have both of their jerseys. I'm saving them for G.
Well, Gronk has what, 4 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he's got
4. No, 5.
4. Yeah,
he won 3 with Tom Brady and New England.
Yeah, he won 4. And he won one with the Bucks.
And he won one with the Bucks.
4. He has 4 Super Bowls. Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So him and Brady won 4 Super Bowls together.
I mean, not for nothing though. Like
from 2000, I think it was 2010 or 2000 when the Gronk came in 2010. I think it was.
Yeah, something around there, 10 or 11. But Nick, how did people that are older than us, right? I mean, in their 40s or something like that. How do you go against Joe Montana and Jerry Rice?
That's true.
Like Jerry Rice's stats are ridiculous.
They're insane. They're never going to be.
And here's the thing. I say it all the time. To me, I think that who's your favorite and who you think's the best wide receiver? Randy Moss.
Randy Moss.
I've said T.O. But when you look at it, and it's like, all right, we didn't get to see Jerry Rice, so this is who our best is.
Yeah.
But when you look at Jerry Rice's stats, it's not even, you can't even argue.
It's like a Wayne Gretzky stat.
Yes, or a Wilt Chamberlain stat. There's just things in there where you're like, damn, there's no. I mean, Jerry Rice had what, 21,000 receiving yards?
Yeah.
And they're throwing more now than they were in the 80s.
And that's not even going to be caught.
No. It's just, I don't see how.
21,000 yards. If you put up 2,000 yards a season for 10 years straight,
you don't have enough.
You don't even have enough. And wide receivers, I don't believe they last as long anymore.
No, they don't.
Because now you got the young kids in the draft, they're looking to be replaced. The veterans come in, or they're just more of like a filler guy. They're the veteran presence. They're going to coach up the young kids that are actually going to be playing a lot more. The rookies, the second-year players, they get coached up by the veterans, but they usually are the 4th wide receiver on the depth chart at that point.
You know who's somebody that I actually think may have been able to have a chance? Well, a few people, maybe a few, but like AB, if he didn't lose his head, AB could have challenged it because AB was a monster. And you know who else, dude? DeAndre Hopkins. He just always had a butt quarterback.
Man, dude, I just
D-Hop is hard to judge, dude. D-Hop is amazing.
He is.
It's just Tom Savage and Brock Osweiler, and he was Matt Schaub, and he always had 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns.
On the subject of that, where do you think he's going to go? Hopkins, because there's a lot of trade rumors, swirling around his name, and I think he's going to go somewhere. Probably before the draft. Definitely before the draft.
Before the draft, if I had to guess, my number 1, Patriots.
Wow. That's what I was thinking too, actually.
Yeah. Because I think they have Bill O'Brien back. Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is a franchise quarterback. I think he was dealt a bad hand this year. I don't think Mac Jones is anything spectacular. I think he's an average skill set and I think he has a good head on his shoulders. I think he can make all the throws. I just think he needs a big wide receiver, a big time wide receiver to help get the best out of him. I don't think he's never going to produce with Nelson Aguilar's and Jacoby Myers.
I have a team in mind. I like the Patriots move.
I like the Ravens.
I have a team in my mind, and this is all predicated on the quarterback too. The Jets. The Jets can get DeAndre Hopkins, pair him with Garrett Wilson, right?
Yeah.
Go get a tight end, and go get the quarterback. If they can get an Aaron Rodgers and a D-Hop, along with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, they're cooking something, bro. They'll be all right. They'll be good. I can say that. I think the Jets could be a team that's going to be.
I don't know if they'll have the money though. If they bring Rodgers,
well, yeah, why not?
Because he's 55 million or 50 million.
50 million.
50 million.
50 million.
Dude didn't even make the playoffs, and he's going into solitary confinement voluntarily.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yep. I like it. I think I like the Jets.
That's an interesting one.
The Jets did ask the Packers if Rodgers is available.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say that's a perfect transition into that part.
I do like it. I love it. I think it's a slam dunk. I think they have to get it done. I think Rodgers in New York is kind of like a weird mixture based on personalities, but I kind of think it's going to weirdly work out because he legitimately doesn't give a fuck.
Wow. I was just going to tell you, you know why? Everybody seems to be worried about his personality in the New York media. I don't. I think he has the perfect personality because he truly doesn't care what anybody thinks of him.
Yeah.
He says what he feels. He says what he believes. And when you are confident in yourself like that and you are able to be honest and you just say what you feel, I think it negates that backlash.
Does that aspect of him hurt his stature, or I want to say the ability to sell him? Is he marketable based on that? Because if a lot of people don't believe in his views,
yes, he is.
Then is he still marketable? Because a lot of people could hate what he says too.
It works
because he does say some controversial shit politically too. That in a city like New York may not agree with what he's saying. Is he going to be marketable for them?
It's a great point.
I think he would be because it's Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's 50-50 or 60-40.
But you're teetering the line a little bit though. Some comments could rub people the wrong way and you could lose fans that way. I'm just saying New York is one of those cities that you got to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that's a great point. But here's the thing. It's like 50-50 for me because Aaron Rodgers says how he feels. But the problem is that will he be marketable? 50% yes, because he's Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers he's a good quarterback. And you're going to be in contention. And you can win football games with him. The other 50% on why he won't be marketable and he will have trouble in New York is because when he gets up on the mic and he doesn't conform and say what everybody wants him to say, that's where the issue lies. And the world we live in now, everything is under a microscope. There's always an underlying meaning.
Yep.
If you say you like apples, it means you don't like oranges and lemons. If you say, if you say you're a straight Christian male, LGBTQ doesn't like you, and you get hated by that.
Yeah.
And that will be tough for him.
Yeah.
Because again, he doesn't line up, and New York's a liberal area.
Yeah.
So when he goes on there and he's talking about that he's been inoculated.
That's kind of how I was trying to portray it, but I don't want to say the word.
I'm saying I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm on here. But
okay.
But here's the problem, and I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm calling it for exactly what it will be. If he goes on there and he says, I'm not a vaccine guy, I don't believe in it, they're going to crucify him. Now, hopefully that's just a thing of the past. I mean, it should be now, but they will crucify him.
Yep.
And it's difficult because you have to be able to be yourself. You have to. That's why, as much as I used to get on Aaron Rodgers, I feel more relatable to him because I'm like, damn, I just like somebody that goes up there and is just him.
But would it work out when people in the city that you're playing for do not like you or your views?
If he's winning,
Aaron Rodgers, it would matter because I think Aaron Rodgers is all about being happy.
Yes.
Happy. And that's a toxic environment when you got fans that that don't really agree with what you're saying, and they're going to resent you for it. And then now you're on the front pages of the Daily News, and you're all over the city in a bad way.
Yeah.
That would rub. And then he has an interview with Pat McAfee, and then he's like, "Oh, I don't care what the fucking tabloids got to say about me. I don't give a fuck about what these people got to say. I'm here to win football games." I mean, I respect it, but in fans like that in New York, it ain't gonna gel well. And I don't know if it will work out.
I think it will if he's winning. That's the only way.
That's the only way.
If he's 5-5 through the first 10,
stupid shit.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean. And then you start controversy. Then you got a different story now.
He also is slick. He knows how to say what he feels and get around.
Well,
of
course, we knew that when they were asked if he was vaccinated.
He's been inoculated.
Yeah.
Or whatever term.
Inundated or whatever.
I can't think of the word. Immunized.
Yeah.
Inoculated. I don't know why I keep saying that. Yes, I have been immunized.
Inundated.
I don't know why I keep saying that. All right, Derek Carr was released. Where do you think he lands?
I kind of said it earlier on the show, but I think he's going to the Panthers. I think he's going there with Frank Reich. I think it's going to be a really fantastic fit for him because they have DJ Moore. I think their commitments to run the football can help them be successful. I like Carolina. I think Carolina's a good fit.
You swayed me because initially I said Tennessee, but Carolina does make the most sense. And here's the thing. Reich got a lot out of Phillip Rivers, and he got some out of Carson. Whatever was left of Wentz, because that year with Reich, that was Wentz's last good year.
And division's wide open.
He would be the best quarterback in the division, no matter what.
Right now, yep.
Even if Jimmy G goes there, he's better than Jimmy G. But Jimmy G's more accomplished. But from an overall talent perspective, Derek Carr is better.
I agree. I totally agree with
But I'm just saying. Jimmy G has accomplished more, but Derek Carr has more ability than Jimmy G. And I think he would do really well because they have a good run game. They have DJ Moore. They have good defense.
You think Carr's overrated?
Overrated? No, I think he's properly rated.
Do you think like a team acquiring him is a franchise-changing move?
No, but it makes them better. In a weak division, where Derek Carr would step in and instantly be the best quarterback in the division, no debate. Yes, he helps the Panthers because the Panthers will win that division.
So outside the Panthers, because you agree with me, right? What other team could you see? Would the Jets be interested?
The Jets. Yeah, because he, unlike Aaron Rodgers, says all the right things.
What about the Colts?
I don't think it would be.
A fit?
No, because I think they still have a lot more to do.
Interesting.
I think the Colts have a lot more to do. I think he would do well in Washington. Washington's, I think, a quarterback away from being a legitimately good team.
Wow. They were trashing Carr.
What about the Saints? I think he would be good with the Saints.
Yeah.
I think he'd be really good with the Saints. And I think Michael Thomas would love to play football again because he would have a competent quarterback.
The rumors came out regarding the Raiders believing Carr was not tough enough.
Yeah, they said that before. I don't understand that.
Carr wasn't tough enough to hang in the pocket or play well in cold weather.
Yeah, well, then New York's not the spot.
Missed some throws this season.
All right, well, I mean he didn't miss throws 2 years ago. He was perfectly fine in turmoil. I just think Josh McDaniels is a bad head coach, and it's easy to blame Derek Carr. But we'll see this year when Josh McDaniels blows again.
And as for the Raiders, they didn't let Carr operate as freely at the line of scrimmage as he had under John Gruden and Rich Bisaccia.
Yep, should never got rid of Rich Bisaccia either.
So you think it's Josh McDaniels' fault?
Absolutely. I've been on record saying that. He stinks, cuz. He stinks.
I don't know. Josh Jacobs had a really good year under him. And Devontae Adams balled out too.
They won 4 games.
I know. But the players were successful. It wasn't like their defense was really bad too, though.
I know that. Derek Carr has never had a defense ranked higher than 20.
That's what I mean. Their
That's
defense
insane.
was really bad. That's why they won 4 games.
Yeah. All right, last thing before we get out of here. Juju and AJ Brown's Twitter beef.
I love it.
Juju was corny for that.
He's so fucking whack. He's so fucking whack.
AJ Brown hit the nail on the head. You're not like that. You never are. I never have a problem with people talking shit. But if you're gonna talk shit, you have to be that dude. Juju Smith-Schuster reminds me of Eli Apple on the offensive end. A mid-level guy that pops off like he's a star.
Well, I mean, look, you got to think about it this way. He just won the Super Bowl. He thinks he's on top of the world. He doesn't care.
I actually know it's crazy. I think he posted that meaning it to be harmless. It was like, I think he thought it was going to come off as funny, but like, you don't do that, especially after he takes the high road.
Right. I thought it was really corny. I when I saw it, I was like, wow, I was shocked about it. And then he kind of like doubled down and said, "Oh yeah, I'm glad you finally got that off your chest after all these years."
Played victim.
Yeah, like that's corny, bro.
Yeah,
he kind of like backtracked a little bit. It was kind of like pussying out, but like I thought it was real corny. Shout out to AJ Brown. That's the proper response. He really did, man. That's a true leader right there. Darius Slade commented on it. CJ Gardner-Johnson. Yeah, he
had six times more TikToks than touchdowns.
That was really whack, bro. I can't believe like that was posted. I mean, and Bradbury's so innocent. He you know what I mean? Like, and we talk about this mental health shit, and you're gonna trash this dude. We talk about mental health and protect your brothers, and you know, if somebody fails, you pick them back up, you pat them on the back, and say, hey man, you know, tomorrow's a new day, you get better at it, blah blah blah. God has a plan for you, and then you're gonna shit on your brother like that. You're gonna shit on him?
Supposed to be a fraternity.
Yeah. What happened? What happened to the mental health? You don't think that guy's hurting after he just made that play? You don't think he's bothered by it? You don't think he slept well? You think he slept well? Like, come on, man. Like, think about that. You're hurting somebody else intentionally.
Yeah.
Corny shit, bro. That's corny shit. So I don't believe in none of that shit.
I'm with you.
Anytime they promote all that bullshit, I don't even pay attention to it.
Talk to him, theories.
I don't.
All right, guys. That concludes episode 144. I'm passing it off to Nick. See you Tuesday.
It's all a facade, everybody. Don't listen to the optics. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We appreciate all the love, support, and the comments. If you guys haven't done so already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on YouTube. We are also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Megaphone, Stitcher,
and all that other shit.
Also, follow us on all of our socials as you do not want to miss our daily content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will see you guys next week at P&I, baby.